What is up, traders? Welcome back to another video. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. Just moved into a new house. Haven't really been able to do the daily live streams as much, but we are all good now. So, good news. We got funded on two accounts. A 150K combine, we got moved over into the XFA, and a 50K combine, we got moved over into the XFA. And once again, after being transferred into the Express funded, I still wanted to be aggressive and build up a nice buffer, which we did in one day. $10,000 on the 50K and another $10,000 on the 150K. And this was only really two trades. It might kind of look like more because I was scaling in and out of some of the positions, building up my entry, scaling out of the exits. But here we are. Trade win percentage 90%. Obviously, that's a really small sample size. We only traded one day. The average win to loss, we have a 1 to 8 RR. Profit factor 80.18. And that one losing trade is $134 loser. As you can see, it was 3 micro short at 19,885, and I exited about 20 points higher. And this was actually a trade that I took. And once again, I talk about this on the live streams, and we're going to go into the breakdown and we'll kind of recap this. But I was only trying to build a position. I saw that NQ was getting some strength above a zone that I was a little bit worried about, and so I took it off early. We re-entered the short and then eventually caught 280 points. So at the end of the day, this 20-point loser was kind of insignificant. And the best trade, which this wasn't even really the best trade because once again, I scale out of the trades. I think it was closer to a $6,000 trade. But this was part of what we're going to recap here. 19,932, we short and we exited at 19,654. So that's somewhere close to like 300 points. Okay, so let's recap the big winning trade that we took overnight on Thursday. A 300-point M&Q short, 15 micro contracts. 3,000 ticks on NQ. Absolutely massive short. A 1 to 11 risk to reward. Probably the biggest trade I've ever taken. All right, so hopping over to TradingView, the blue panels you see here is the overnight session, right? This is kind of London, Asia. And then in between is the New York session. Okay, so let's break it down. To kind of understand why we took this trade, we need to go all the way back to Wednesday's price action and look at the highs that the market put in as a reaction to the Fed interest rate staying unchanged. This was a liquidity sweep of the highs of the range on the higher time frame hourly. Once again, we're kind of in this ascending wedge on the hourly. We had highs at 20,100, which got swept when the market reacted to the FOMC decision. So our new high, 20,140. Market closes kind of at equilibrium of the imbalance that we put in before this high wick. So market closes there, trades through the night, bullish order flow, strong consolidation above VWAP, and then out of nowhere, this strong selling move all the way back down below 20,000. So the market, like we said, has just kind of been a whipsaw. An incredible move down. So let's let the market keep painting this picture. In fact, this is where we will go into replay mode. And this is where it gets exciting. Okay, so we are in replay mode on the hourly. Once again, this is going to be your Thursday morning open. We kind of contest the highs here, and we have to go into a lower time frame to look at this. Okay, so we moved into the 5-minute. Once again, this was your FOMC highs. And this all happened, and this was all Thursday's price action, right? You also have your Asia highs here. Asia highs. So we take Asia highs, but fail to take FOMC highs, and the market is kind of still in its wedge, and it's in a 300-point range. Really whipsawing, really wild movement, and the market closes right here. And it was a really strong sell-off into the close, right? So we had these imbalances kind of inverse each other. So neutral price action here, takes Asia highs, can't move past FOMC highs, but takes the buy side liquidity above Asia highs, sells hard back into VWAP, and this was a really wild day. And this is kind of where I was looking at, once again, the hourly, but I was also looking at the 5-minute, this ascending sell side liquidity, kind of trend line liquidity, right? And so this is kind of where I was looking at maybe taking a short. In fact, I had shorted a couple times in here with tight stops and just didn't get a lot of play through. But I said, you know what? This is a market where in the Asian session, close into New York Open, we really have these crazy sell-off moves. We saw it Tuesday night. We saw it Wednesday night, right? 250-point selling moves into the open has kind of been the normal. And so to me, this really looked like a massive intraday sentiment shift. These imbalances kind of void because they both inversed. We sell hard below VWAP, and we're only 20, 30 points from taking the intraday equal lows, which is kind of what I was looking for during the New York session. We couldn't snap. Anyways, we kind of get sympathy buyers into the close. We can see like a nice 100-point rally into the close. Really clean move. And so the move that I was looking for into the after hours was to kind of manipulate above this 920 level where you kind of had these equal highs get put in there. I wanted to see a manipulation through the 20s, but not above the 40s. And so the thought process with the entry was to kind of take sells right at VWAP, right? So that 30s areas is kind of where I wanted it. It's the equilibrium of the range we had today. It's below VWAP. We had a really bearish close. This is once again just kind of sympathy buying into the close, which you sometimes see, but all that is creating a premium entry for me. So I wanted it somewhere in the 930s with a stop right here at equilibrium at like 50s. So this is after hours, talking 5, 6 p.m. So we move here. I think I took a short after we broke this move, 80s. I took a short here as it kind of retraced back to VWAP. I took a short at 87. Once again, this was the first trade that we talked about, was a $130 loser, 20-point stop. Sometimes if I have an idea on a trade and I kind of get in a little instinctively, and then see, this was 87. I think it took 5 short, 87, and then we pulled back to the equal highs. I saw volume. It was coming off VWAP. Didn't love it, and I took it off at 907. That was a 20-point loser on the XFA for $130. But like I said, I still thought we were going to get the move. And once again, you guys might have heard me say it if you paid attention. I wanted to see us manipulate above the highs of the close before we sell back down into the ascending sell side liquidity. So we pull back to the equal highs of the close. I was looking for kind of the premium entry and manipulation back above the 920s, which we got right here. And I was averaging into this. So I think I took a short here, 917. I took 5 micros, took 5 more micros at 927. And then I took the last 5 micros at 932. And you know what? We have the power to just kind of simulate that entry. So I was short 15 micros. And once again, we said I had to stop at 950. That's equilibrium. Kind of both these imbalances that we ran through earlier. It's equilibrium. If we start pulling back through that off of the sympathy rally that we already had into the close, which was kind of an overextended 200-point move, I wasn't going to be super interested in it above 950 anyways, considering I was super patient with the entry and waited for the manipulation above the close, which was kind of that 920 level. We moved through. I take 15 micro short with a stop at 950s. So I was looking for all of this trend line sell side liquidity to get taken, and that's exactly how this played out. We exited at 19,654. So let's move the take profit all the way down to 19,654 right there. That is a massive trade. That is a 1 to 12. Stop right there at equilibrium. We manipulate above the highs. Sympathy rally here. Trend line, sell side liquidity. Super vulnerable draw on liquidity here. We've been dumping once again overnight continuously. That's kind of the market we're in right now. It kind of reminds me of the COVID market, where New York session would find some strength, kind of a questionable close, and then overnight we just dump 1%. So massive, massive short setup here. This was a 1 to 12 RR, and we caught it all. So let's see how it played out. So we started selling back down below VWAP. Once again, the big move I wanted was to take the ascending kind of trend line sell side liquidity that we had earlier in the New York session, and that's exactly what happened. Continue selling overnight. I think at this point I fell asleep. I think it was like 1 a.m. I was kind of keeping an eye on it. So stop was there at 950. Once again, I think this is kind of where I went to bed, honestly. I just passed out. I had to stop. Yeah, right there, about $700 stop if I lose. And I was looking for the ascending sell side liquidity to take, and we did overnight. Massive sell-off, a 300-point move. So slept through the night. I was asleep while all of this selling was happening. Just selling hard, 275 points to the downside. I was totally asleep while this trade was taking place. And so here we go, 9681. We'll move forward a few more bars, and there's take profit right there. That's exactly where I took this trade off. I think I took 5 off like 860s, to be honest. Once we sold and broke below sell side, I think I took 5 off. So more so is, so the position was more like 10 right here. So that's kind of why it was like a $6,000 P&L. So we sold all the way down here, and I take the trade off right before market open at about 8:20 a.m. Locked in the profit, and that was probably one of the nicest trades that I've ever hit. And it was on the first day of my XFA. Massive gains, as you can see, $10,000 in one day. So let's go see the entry for this last and final kind of trade I took. 20 micros, kind of in this 820s, 830 area, and we took it off at about 930s. So we got a clean 100 points, and it was all this move right here. But yeah, it was kind of just a dip and rip move. But this one wasn't as special. This was kind of just a dip and rip move. All of retail was kind of looking for a feel good close. But yeah, not as impressed with this trade, but this one was really nice, and I'll put the video up as well on this one. I screen recorded both trades. I screen recorded when I woke up to the last one. You guys already saw that. The entry was actually lower here. I ended up taking 15 at like 820s. And this was just a solid move. This was bullish accumulation. We already took sell side from the previous session, holding above VWAP, bullish order flow, bullish accumulation, inversed this bearish imbalance that we had earlier in the day, and everything was just feeling strong today, right? This was Friday. Everybody's kind of looking for a feel good close. This was the red to green threshold on SPY. Kind of, if we could take these highs, we could go close green. Everybody was feeling it. So I took 15 micros there, and honestly, it just played. I'll put up the screen recording of this trade. It just played out beautifully. I had to stop the lows, and this just kind of extended all the way, red to green, flips green, and then kind of continues into the after hours. And if you guys would join me Sunday, we'll go live again tomorrow, and I want to play this continuation if we can. And so that is kind of the day we had. It was absolutely massive. $20,000 on the first day of the XFA. Once again, copy traded on a 50K and a 150K XFA. So I am feeling good. I hope you guys are feeling good. It's back to the daily live streams. And we will see y'all in the next one, man. Take it easy.